Welcome back to Adventure Now. Here we are leaving Loch Laxford and starting a 53-mile journey south. The mess you can see on the deck is the mud we brought up with the anchor. A sticky muddy bottom equals good secure holding and therefore a sound night's sleep, so we will take that mess any time.
What a glorious loch in a beautiful part of northwest Scotland. And out there is the open sea, and we continue our voyage south. Beautiful cloud formations on those mountains, like cotton wool.
I used to have a job, a house, a car and more. An alarm that signalled me every day to get out of that front door. I thought that I was in control, that's what I truly believed, until I started to realise that what I owned, in fact, owned me. When we left you in the last episode, we were talking about motion being good. A couple of days after making that statement, I woke up with ants in my pants and an urge to move, so we upped anchor and headed out to sea. Just in case we haven't sung the praises of the cockpit enclosure enough, this day was the perfect example of how soft it can make a couple of sailors. Warm and dry while Scotland does its best to make everything else wet. Asha even got some shut-eye. I remember our trip to Canna last year when the rain was running through the elbows of my foul weather gear as I looked through the binoculars. Thankfully, those days are behind us. This was quite a long trip, devoid of wind or excitement, but fortunately the rain was well-mannered enough to clear off as we passed Longer Island and made our way towards Gairloch, 53 miles south of Loch Laxford.
That's more yachts in this little harbour here than we've seen in 3 months, right?
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah, I feel like we're actually come back into normal cruising grounds again, really. It's lovely, there's a pub here apparently, we should probably check out. Still a bit of a mud bath up here. Tight, but I reckon we're good. Only boat anchored here means there's enough room for us.
Yep.
This is indeed a tight little anchorage. The chart shows that there really is only enough swinging room for one boat. The bottom is nice and muddy, which makes for good holding, which is just as well because the rocks that surround this anchorage are pretty unforgiving. Next door is an anchorage called the Bird's Nest, which is bigger and deeper, but we were very happy tucked away in our cosy little spot. They do say that the smell of fresh bread does something to people, and it's what's drawing me into Altor of Down, and I heard the alarm go off, so I know.
Good.
Look! Yes, Ashy, yes!
This one is with olives and sun-dried tomatoes.
I tell you what, all you need is a good pole in the galley and a good omnia. And you also need a bread recipe from Rona,
yes.
Eileen's daughter.
Yeah.
Thank you, one and all. After hanging around the galley and annoying Asha by eating her bread, we went ashore. We had been told about a lovely little walk which ultimately led to a vantage point overlooking our lovely anchorage. So off we went. Along the way, I was aware that the secret I was carrying would soon be out. I had also been told that Highland cattle occupied the very hillside we were due to walk on. Maybe not a problem to some, but Asha has a bit of an aversion towards cattle. Now, I am not one to disrespect anyone's fears, but I felt that if we actually got to the site, we'd have half a chance of being able to continue, rather than not embarking on the walk at all if I'd have been 100% upfront and honest at the start. Sneaky? Well, I don't know. Maybe. Beautiful distractions along the way were aplenty, but soon the cat was out of the bag. Head office called an emergency meeting, and after some serious debate, the little guy won. so in we went.
I'm petrified of cattle.
I know you're a little bit scared of cattle,
A little bit.
but we'll just keep wandering through. Any that we don't like the look of, or any that don't like the look of you,
Very funny.
we'll turn back.
My cavalier attitude was about to bite me in the arse. What I mistook for ambivalence was anything but. Some had taken the high ground, and others the low. Some camouflaged, and others not so. This turn of events was enough to send Asha fleeing to the gate, but I felt like I could tame this ginger beast, so I stayed, and much to my surprise, Asha returned.
They're not bothered in the slightest. I think if we just keep talking, they're good. We're going to walk straight past.
But then we have to go back.
Well, we can abseil down the cliff if we need to.
We had been outsmarted. This was an ambush, or more precisely, a beef bush. But whatever it was, she was coming, and I was nervous too.
Okay, mate. Okay, mate. We're going to go past you. We're going to go past you.
So this wasn't revenge of the cows after all. Phew.
Very proud of you, Ashy. You just held your nerve very well there.
What was I to do?
Asha can weather the high seas going to Iceland, stand toe to toe with Scottish cattle, and live in close quarters with an Essex boy like me. If I wasn't scared of the answer, I'd ask her which one was worse.
You're my hero.
Oh my god.
The view was indeed spectacular. Asha found some mushrooms, and we both enjoyed the smaller side of nature on the way back down. The cows kept their distance. There was nothing to save me from my mushroom fate.
The gate is in sight, so Asha is very happy that the running of the Highland cattle gauntlet is over.
What a perfect little spot Gairloch is. We had the itch to move further south, so on our last evening we went ashore for one last act of selfless exploration.
Pub. No, I'm fine.
I know you are. Because if I was dragging the dinghy, you would be fine too.
The only downside to this beautiful still evening was that the Scottish midgies were out enjoying it too. However, they didn't seem to like the smoke from the pizza oven, so what else were we meant to do?
Today we have a 12-mile hop to the island of Rona. It's a little bit sketchy because you have a very tight entrance, and then there's a rock here, and then a big sort of outcrop of rocks here which we need to pass through. It does also say that you can see the rock under the water, so we will be using our eyeballs to come in. This is an aerial photograph, and you can see by the faintly drawn line here that this is our track going into the rather spectacular anchorage. Cool little place. And on to the next one. Bonnie Scotland is delivering today on its endless skies and intriguing light. The open space is so good for the heart and soul. Love this place.
Someone asked me what the best thing is about this sailing life. My answer was freedom. Whatever it is in any of our individual lives that makes us feel free, we should cling on to it with all of our might. I know I bang on about adventure now, but please allow me to clarify. It doesn't matter what your adventure is, where it takes you, or if your adventure is at home. Freedom is what allows us to make the choice. Freedom is what makes us individuals, and it is freedom that makes life wonderful.
We've just come from 100 metres deep down to 40, 30, and now we're on 10 metres as we come creeping through here. So yeah, that to me is the promontory they're talking about. So I can't see the rock, so I think it is a wash. So we need to be very careful here. We're going to get uncomfortably close to that and sweep on by, okay?
Okay. Do we need to be between the land and this rock?
Yep.
Wow.
That's what, yeah.
That's close quarters.
It is indeed. So keep a good eye, Ashy. I think you might as well go up on the foredeck here.
This was a bit nerve-wracking. but with Asha on the foredeck she was able to spot the rock just below the surface on the port hand side. I kept clear to starboard and we were in. Well, that was pretty tight coming through there.
Oh my god.
I could see the rocks under the water there, and then I'm pleased that you spotted the white top of the rock there.
Yeah.
That is tight, and what I always find awkward is that when you talk about 10 metres on a pilot book, 10 metres is uncomfortably close when you're staring at rocks. So yeah, the other thing we had is to draw a line straight out from the stern to the southeast point, which we're on there. So the pilot books, yet again, you can't, a chart, of course you need a chart, but the pilot books for the up close and personal bit is just invaluable. So now we're just coming down this deep part and see where we can go. Right, the anchorage that I wanted, that's marked on the chart, is pretty much in the middle of these mooring buoys here. Would you do me a favour please and go and turn the anchor windlass on?
Anchor windlass on.
These are all mooring buoys here, but we're going to spin it around, come back into the wind, and we're going to drop the anchor pretty much here.
Okay.
Okay, let's do it before gear marking. Yeah, we're going dead ahead here.
Okay.
And we're going to drop the anchor down.
Good?
Yeah, we stopped.
Yep.
1 foot in the air and I fell over. So that's good. Job done. Well done, Perkins. Intrigued by the rocky entrance, when the tide went down, we took to the dinghy to investigate and drop something off. Do you come here often?
Just when I'm naughty.
You've been banished to the rock.
Cast off the ship.
We have noticed a pattern emerging. Whenever we go to shore, the tourists seem to leave. We don't take it personally, we just enjoy it. And what's not to enjoy about the beautiful island of Rona? Fantastic little place we found here, off the beaten track. The path went that way and we went cross country. And it's like a little fairyland in here. Cool, isn't it?
So magical.
I look the other way for 5 minutes and then I find Asha shoes off and in touch with the ground. Strange things are never far away. See what I mean about tourists? We leave and they arrive. We have just emptied the last of the alcohol on the boat into there and we haven't got anything to go with the gin, so we're going to have a bit of pear juice and then we're going to raise a toast. And I know what the toast is, Ashi. Is that enough pear juice for you?
That's plenty. Thank you so much.
Right, this is a toast to drinking the ship dry.
Cheers to that.
Together with drinking the ship dry, we've got a curry here which is just basically made of tins of anything we've got in the cupboard, because we've also eaten the ship dry. This is the sorry state of the fridge. There's a bit of bread over there, there's a bit of butter there, and a bit of Faroese cheese. Other than that, we're on tins. But we haven't been shopping for
15 days.
15 days, so we've done alright. No one starves on this ship. Our leaving Rona also brings us to the end of this episode of Adventure Now. Please join us next time as we cruise further south and have the pleasure of meeting the Duchess of Cornwall and Prince Charles when they visit Portree. We also have some fantastic Scottish sailing in stiff breeze and flat water up to and under the Skye Bridge. And on the other side we have the pleasure of meeting a family of sailing otters. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Adventure Now. We really hope you have enjoyed it. And if so, Please stay tuned for more. Altor out.
I'm looking forward to foraging for mushrooms in the forest.
I'm looking forward to foraging for a pint in the pub. Pasta with mushrooms and a glass of wine after you triumph over poisoning me.
Well, I haven't poisoned you yet.
And then sailing off into the sunset on Altor of Down.
I'm so good at single-handed sailing, everybody knows.